agree with Alan Greenspan, we ought to just eliminate the debt ceiling. Oh, absolutely, we do.
The ability of almost every working American to access more credit than they should have been able to masked the underlying fact that lower and middle class incomes were not rising.
That's not a tenable strategy. Isn't now the time to eliminate it? Oh, it would have been time a long time ago to eliminate it.
Let's put aside terrorism. Let's talk only about our own homegrown animals that are patrolling America right now. So it goes down to the simplest thing. Be prepared, be vigilant.
You guys didn't think I'd leave you out here alone, did you? You didn't think that James Walton would leave you out here alone in this cruel world. In this terrifying world with snipers and killers and mass shooters and racial division like nothing we've ever seen in the nation in our lifetime of whatever you would call us, Generation A through Zers. You didn't think I'd leave you out here alone with the rise of the police robots? If you think there's injustice in the police force now, wait until it's automated. Wait until it's autonomous. Right? You didn't think I'd leave you out here all alone with the nightmare in Paris, the nightmare in Europe. No, I'm here. I'm here, and I'm with you tonight, and we're going to talk about a lot. We have to talk about Dallas. We have to talk about the cropping up of radical hate groups on all sides of the aisle. We have to be honest about this. We have to talk about Raza. We have to talk about a brown supremacist group that calls himself the Race. You see, time is running out. Time is running out now. You know, it's going to come in a hurry. And you have to be ready. And the first step in all of that is brushing off the facade. Right? We have to brush off the facade of all this political correctness. And we have to look at things. Right? We have to look at the Black Lives Matter movement. We have to look at the explosion in the popularity of the Klu Klux Klan. And we have to say exactly what these groups are. Right? We have to say exactly what these groups are. You know what else we have to do? And we have to do it without fear. And we have to look into the crystal ball of truth. We have to say that there's a problem in the police force. Right? Yes, hats off to the men and women of law enforcement for the majority. You do a great job. You keep people safe. You do what you got to do. But we've got to look at facts, and we've got to look at reality, and we have to say that there's a problem. Well, there's two problems. Let's be honest, right? There's a problem in poor communities. There's a problem in poor communities. There's a problem with keeping people on the right path in poor communities. There's a problem. Here's the problem. There's a problem with breaking the law in poor communities because of the media, because of hip-hop, because of rap music, because of this unbelievable culture that we live in, where we have people all day telling us what shouldn't be a law, what should be a law, and drugs shouldn't be illegal. All of the shoulds and shouldn'ts are irrelevant when you're staring at a police officer and you're breaking the current laws. Now, whether you like the laws or you don't like the laws is really irrelevant. If you hate them, then there's other ways to get things changed. But when you're breaking the law, you're willingly bringing the police into your life. There's a problem with crime in poor neighborhoods. Duh. There's a problem with people believing that they have no other choice but to break the law in poor neighborhoods because Lil Wayne tells them that that's what they should be doing. There's a problem with a government that props these poor neighborhoods up just enough so that they still have to break the law to survive. There's a problem with the way some police officers are doing their jobs. And what does all this mean? Well, in this day and age, it means a lot. It means that you have those three issues, and they're all toothpicks. And nothing, no more weight can be bared on any of those. Right? If we put any more weight on the police, they're going to fall, they're going to crumble, they're going to disappear. And then good luck with life. Good luck with life, good luck with trying to live in this world without police. Good luck if Jesse Williams has his way, or whatever the hell his name was from BET, and communities start policing themselves. Good luck with that. That should work out really well. Rape, theft, robbery, murder. Police go, it's over. You might as well hold up and start boarding up the windows. We see what happens when there's too much pressure put on these communities, these poor communities. When they're crumbled under the stresses of murder or the stresses of other things. Right? It turns into fire, it turns into mayhem, it turns into murder. So we're seeing the limits here. And we know that the limits are running short. And I honestly think time is running short. When you have nations in the Arab Emirates that are telling people that it may be dangerous to travel to America, or be cautious about traveling to America. When you have Bahamians, people from the Bahaman Islands, the Bahamian Islands, worried about their people traveling to America and warning them what they should be and shouldn't be prepared for. There are serious issues in this nation that are going nowhere fast in a good way, and you have to prepare yourself for it. You have to look at these things objectively and be honest with yourself, no matter who you might scare. No matter if your boss might get a little upset, no matter if your wife might get a little upset, you've got to be honest with yourself and say, there's evil out there, and it's gathering together in groups all over the land. And when they sit alone in their rooms, the Razas and the Klu Klux Klans and the radical hate groups, when you hear things about segregated police forces coming from Houston, that's when you get nervous. And what's the trigger, right? What's the fuse that sets it all off? Is when a man like Donald Trump gets elected president, and you have minority groups feel like they're so pushed into a corner. But I've told you this before, it's not the minority groups I worry about. Nope. I don't stay up late worrying about anybody with dark skin. I don't. I really don't. I worry about the backlash and what that could mean for history. I worry about the backlash of the majority and what that could mean for history. But the situation here and now and today is that what hit me months ago as almost a premonition that preparedness was not dead, that prepping was not dead, that this whole movement that we've been working together on here for these last 4 or 5 years, however long it's been, this stuff hit me in the guts a few months ago, and something told me that we were just at the beginning of something that was going to ramp up and be terrifying. And I don't know if it was what happened in Ferguson. I don't know. I don't know where it came from. I was disenfranchised with the whole idea for a few months. I was wrapped up in hunting. I was wrapped up in life and babies. And maybe it was the baby again. Maybe the birth of the son is what really pushed me there again, just like the original. Just like the 2011 model. Maybe it was the 2015 model that pushed me back up to new heights and made me look at the world objectively again and say, wow. Things are about to go insane in this nation. Right? People are about to lose it in ways we've never seen before. Now imagine Donald Trump gets into office and the first thing he does is cut welfare. How do you think that will go? Are you prepared to get out of your neighborhood in a hurry if it starts to burn? Are you prepared to do something to save the lives of your family? I don't do these shows very often, right? We don't talk about this stuff where I question your ability to protect, your ability to survive. But I can tell you, when you see cops getting sniped, when you see cops catching bullets in the head, right? It changes things. It takes things to new levels. You look outside, right? If you're in the Texas police departments, you look outside, you see citizens with AR-15 standing guard outside Texas police departments. You see men and women who see exactly what we're talking about. They see these toothpicks bending. Not breaking, but bending. Struggling. And you have to be real about it. You have to be also real about these patriotic groups that are threatening to overthrow the government. These groups that are waiting for the call. Right? They're just waiting for the call. For what? They're waiting for the call. When the government can be overthrown and their libertarian ideas can take over. And we don't need laws. We're libertarians. Liberty. Right? I want to be able to do what I want to do, and I don't want anybody around to tell me I can't. You know, that doesn't really work either. It doesn't really work out either, in most cases. So that said, that's what I want to open the show with. That's what I want to open the show with. Because there's tons to talk about today. And I wanted to get to you, and I wanted to talk to you. Because I know you felt like I abandoned you. I took Friday off. I ran a rerun show or something along those lines. And we've got serious racial issues in the nation. And it doesn't mean that all black people and all white people aren't getting along. Of course, that's silly. But it means that there's enough that it's going to come to a head if this keeps up. And our monstrous, spineless president says nothing about unity. It takes a wrestler. It takes a wrestler to show up in a UFC match, Brock Lesnar, after beating Mark Hunt over the weekend, to say something about unity in this nation. When our own president sits there and shivers. He sits there and shivers. It's amazing to me, folks. I've never seen anything like this. I don't ever want to see anything like this. I don't want to tell anybody I've ever seen anything like this. I'm embarrassed to be even involved in something like this. Really and truly. The scene of more protests in Chicago after recent shootings by police at CNN. So as the madness ramps up, what happens? Right? More people come out to the streets. More people come out to do more looting and rioting because of the fact that the police are shooting people, which then forces the police to shoot more people. Which then forces more people to come outside and do more crazy things, which then, well, you get it, right? We're going to see riots. What's the most important thing? What do you do? How do you survive a riot? Do you have a plan? Is the question. If that city down the street from your home decides to overflow into that beautiful suburban neighborhood you live in, and they decide they want to break Mercedes windows and kick in doors and rape women, what's the game plan? All right? What is the game plan? It's not on some prepper website somewhere, right? You have to sit down and you have to come up with it yourself. What's the game plan? Because I can tell you this much, mine is well articulated, okay? I'm giving you this show tonight as a warning. a very serious show as a warning. Look, my life is shooting for the moon. The trajectory has never been better. And I want to keep that going. And I have faith in the American people that this won't debilitate us, this won't level us, this won't cripple us. But it's going to get ugly. It is going to be ugly, my friends. Trust me on that. It's going to be ugly, and it's going to get ugly fast. And what you need to understand is that you could get involved in that ugly. And you need to be prepared for that. You need to be prepared for a world where the police say, not tonight. I'm not doing it tonight. I'm not going out in that tonight. I'm not risking my life for those people. I'm not doing it. What do you do then? You do understand what can happen, right? This is why I'm up at 5 a.m. running and lifting, and these are why the people get up and do these things. This is why the demand for the information that we have, you and I and everyone listening to this show, this is why this stuff's in demand. It's why it's coming back. It's why people are building safe houses in their homes like breakneck speed. I read you the article. I think it was from entrepreneur.com. The bunkers, the safe homes, the safe rooms, all this. The rule of law falls apart. There will be smart people who are prepared. It's a very trying time right now. It's a very trying time when you find out that the shooter had much bigger plans. He had much bigger plans. Like most maniacs. We're also coming to realize that we have a lot of maniacs. Right? We're coming to realize that there's a lot of fucking nuts in this country. And I think that should be expected. In a country of 300 million people, is it really that surprising that there are a lot of crazy people? Because crazy people stand out, and it doesn't take a lot of crazy to have a big effect, right? We watch ISIS at work. ISIS? Who's that? Whatever happened to the radical Muslims? Whatever happened to the radical Muslims? Do you ever lay up in bed and wonder if this is all part of it? Do you ever lay up in bed at night and wonder if this is all part of the plan? If they're lying in wait right now for the day when the cops put their guns down and their badges, if they're lying in wait, waiting for the day when America falls to its knees so they can roll in and slit its throat, right? Cut the whole head off of America. Because if I were on their side, I could be licking my lips now more than ever. I look at number 1 on the most read articles on the Washington Post. Aren't more white people than black people killed by police? Yes, but no. And you see how they poke and they prod. Right? The media is the lowest and the dirtiest crack hooker in America. I'd rather have at my dinner table than I would a member of this media lately. Because that's exactly what they are, right? Rather than selling sex, they're selling the soul of a nation, the media is. They're selling the soul of an entire nation. One page at a time. One dirty, rotten, filthy sentence at a time. I'm outraged that the police would shoot my son and say it was his fault, Veronica Nelson said, Noble's mother told reporters at a news conference not long after the shooting. So please join me as I'm demanding justice for Dylan. The Baton Rouge scenario. Ugly. Ugh. It's unbelievable to watch it unfold in front of us. But data scientists and policing experts often note comparing how many or how often white people are killed by police to how many or how often black people are killed by police is statistically dubious unless you first adjust for population. In 2015, as of Sunday, 1,502 people have been shot and killed by on-duty police officers. Of them, 732 were white and 381 were black, and 382 were of another unknown race. According to census data, there are nearly 160 million more white people in America than there are black people. White people make up roughly 62% of the U.S. population, but only about 49% of those who are killed by police officers. African Americans, however, account for a quarter of those fatally shot and killed by police, despite being just 13% of the U.S. population. Is this news to anyone? Is this news to anyone? Can it be? My question is this. Can it be just the police's fault? Now, I will argue that some of the laws being broken were petty. When we saw the man in New York smothered and killed and choked to death over selling loose cigarettes, you ask yourself, the taxes on the cigarettes killed that man. Was that a petty law? Did he deserve to die for that? Of course not. When you watched a man in North Carolina shot dead running from a police officer. But it goes back to the same idea that I mentioned at the head of the show. You can't break the fucking law. And if you're infuriated by it, then we do something about it. We bring people together and we push for these laws to change. But we can never do good when we start off doing bad. It's impossible. We can never be in the right when we start off in the wrong. Right? It's so hard to justify what's happening and to really make a case against police if every one of these shootings starts off with someone breaking the law. And listen, you can't paint me into a box, no matter who you are. No matter which side of the fence you are and who's listening to this podcast, you can't paint me into a box because I'm an objective, independent thinker. Okay? When I look at a situation like Michael Brown, I say, you know what? The way he was acting in the videos that I saw and what it looked like to me, I think if I was in that cop's position, I'd have probably done the same thing in order to get home to my family. And when I look at the gentleman who died in New York and was choked to death, I say, you know, the police went overboard and they need to be tried for murder. It's murder. That's all. So don't think you can figure me out, okay? Don't think because I'm on a radio station or on a website, or I like guns, or I like prepping, or I like hunting, or I'm a white person that I think a certain way, because you don't know me. You don't know me. There are very few people in this world who know me. There are people who know segments of me. There are very few people who really know me. And I can guarantee you don't know me, okay? So pass judgment if you like, but you won't know me. You probably will never know me. And, you know, who's to say that's for better or for worse? But I ponder these things. I sit up and I think about the police. I think about what kind of a job it is. Who does a job like that? How do you do a job like that? And how do you do it the right way? I mean, it's an unfathomable thing. It's a thing that's probably nearly impossible. Yet we ask it to be done of young men, right? We ask it of young men to go out there and make snap decisions before the public. Go out and make those quick decisions when your life's on the line. You thought the Monday morning quarterback was bad? The Monday morning media on the police is the worst. It's atrocious. It's terrible. They sit behind a desk, they type up words, they look at each other, they do makeup, they do hair, and they come out and try to act like they can even step on the same playing field as someone from either side of that coin. The idea that someone like a Matt Lauer or like a, I don't even know who's in the media. I don't even know their names. I don't even know if Matt Lauer's in there still. Who's in there? Megyn Kelly? Who's in there? Wolf Blitzer, I know. Who else? Who's in there mainstream? I don't even know. Kelly Ripa? I don't even know who they are. I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV because it sells misery and horror and terror. But you think that these people, that these monsters could even step on the same playing field as a young man who made it from through Afghanistan, right? 20-something, baby at home, just married, 45 in his pocket, and all he knows is that he has to uphold the law and get home at night so that his wife doesn't kill him for getting killed. Yeah, you heard me right. That's what I meant. So his wife doesn't kill him for getting killed. Or on the other side of the coin, right? You wake up in a house that's infested with roaches. Your mother's been out all night. You haven't seen her in a few days. You know you got to get up and go to school, and you got to get your little brother up and get him to go to school. You go to the cabinet, there's no food. Right? You turn on some music that can help get you through the day, and the first thing they talk about is robbing, killing, murder, sell drugs, murder, filth, garbage, and you become rich. Right? And then that sort of a mind takes over. Right? And you walk out onto the street, and the first people you say hi to hand you some money, ask you for favors. The opportunities that are presented to you are all under the auspice of breaking the law. Yet we get our news from these primped up, stuffed, hollow figurines on the television screen. And these hollow little figurines that write blog posts, that write news articles, that write newspapers, and they tell us how we should think and who's wrong and who's right. And they have no idea what real life even is. They have no idea what a struggle even is. Do you know what kind of money a police officer makes? I told you before, I'll never bow to a person just because they're in uniform. I don't care if they're Army veterans. I don't care if they're... You know what I mean? It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't matter to me. I appreciate what you've done. I respect what you've done. But just because you come to me in a blue uniform or a camo uniform doesn't mean I bow my head to you. Okay? Will I respect you? Will I give you a handshake? Sure. But I don't have an automatic, get down on all fours and beg button. But still, you have to respect these men. You have to understand what it is they're trying to accomplish. They're trying to manipulate and manage 300 million people. And make sure that the vast majority of them get home safe to the people that they love. And on top of that, make sure that they get home safe. They themselves, I mean. And you've got to believe that, there's going to be some mistakes made along the way. My problem is, when I see a man held down by two police and a handgun put to his chest and the clip unloaded into him, I think about the crimes committed. Maybe he was a pile of trash, maybe he wasn't. Who knows? Does it really matter, though? In our society, does it really matter? In America in 2016, you're being held down against your... when you think about a struggling, dying creature, any other creature, and you think of it pinned down by the jaws of something much bigger, and the teeth slowly entering into that creature and the life bleeding out of it, is there any more horrific way to meet your end than with two men crushing you, one holding a gun to your chest and letting off rounds into your body, and you bleeding out on a cold, dark parking lot? There's people out there, there's people out there that will say, yes, bad person, bad people breaking the law, yada, yada, yada. And there is a problem with people in these communities feeling like they're above the law. There is a problem in impoverished communities with people being influenced by the television, by the music. They feel like, I have to sell drugs, I'm going to do this, this is part of my culture, this is what I have to do. We can talk about opportunities, or lack thereof, whatever it is, but at the end of the day, if we're going to lead the way, right? If we're going to lead the way in the world, which we have to, by the way, America must lead the way. There is no other country that can lead the way we do. Europe cannot lead the way. Europe has been overtaken, okay? Europe has been overtaken, and their horror is only in its infancy. I can promise you, unless deportations start tomorrow, their horror is just, it's like one of those eggs from Alien. That's what it's like. You wake up and one of those fucking little furry eggs from Alien is sitting in your front yard and you know shit. Sooner or later, a face hugger's coming out of there, and they're going to give way to a queen, and before you know it, it's going to be an infestation, and murder, and acid blood everywhere. Europe can't lead the way. Russia can't lead the way. Russia is run by a KGB member. I mean, we can laugh and joke about the criminals who were in our government, but do a little research about Putin and who he really is. You might think he's a great guy because he's got balls and he's, oh man, I wish we had that Putin at the helm here in America. Do you really wish that? You really wish that? People like me'd be in jail. People like me'd be dead. So think before you speak on that. When I see a man held down like cattle and shot in the chest, I say the police are doing things wrong. In that instance, those police officers, yes, the guy who pulls the gun out on the man who is clearly incapacitated with two men on top of him and fires rounds into his chest to kill him, he's a murderer. And I don't care what uniform he has on. Do you get what I'm telling you? It doesn't matter to me what color clothes he's wearing. It doesn't matter to me what his job description is. It doesn't matter to me what his history was in life. I don't care if he served 17 terms in Afghanistan. Like I said, I'll respect what people do and what people have done. But that doesn't mean I'm going to bow to anyone if they're doing the wrong thing. So let's take a quick minute to break down and break away from the madness. I do want to talk about something I'm excited about that's happening at the website right now, www.IamLibertyShow.com. You know, apart from all the horror, we still got to make progress. We still got to make progress. We still got to have fun. We still got to make money. We still got to pay bills. I've always told you that, right? This thing, this collapse, this whatever you want to call it, that we all see slowly happening, it's going to continue to slowly happen. And before you know it, it's going to be a lot worse. And what's going to happen is you're still going to need to go to work and make money, or you're still going to have to figure out a way to make money. You're still going to have to figure out a way to have entertainment, right? And I want to tell you about the challenge. Because I'm very excited about the I Am Liberty Survive the Bugout Challenge, right? I Am Liberty Survive the Bugout Challenge is a contest. It's a challenge. It's a physical challenge. It's not a go in and give me your email, or go in and follow me at Twitter and get a prize that I pull from a hat. No. The Survive the Bugout Challenge is just that. You're going to survive a how can I put it? You're going to survive a bug out scenario that's going to be created by yours truly. And when I say survive a bug out scenario, let me lay down the situation for you. So you come to my website, IamLibertyShow.com, and you're either going to see a pop-up about this contest that'll show up right away. You can sign up right then and there. I will need your email, only because I'm not trying to log it. I'm not trying to email you and bother you all the time. I'll probably maybe send you some emails every once in a while when, I put a new book out, like the book I'm working on now, about how surviving a mass shooting. Very important topic to me. That's why I want to get the information to you. I've trained on this. I've trained on active shooter situations at my current job. I've done personal training with FEMA on these situations, so this is a relevant topic where I feel like I can be helpful. Anyhow, the I Am Liberty Survive the Bug Out Challenge, okay? What are we talking about here? We're talking about you come to the website, you sign up for this challenge, contest, whatever you want to call it. And then and by the way, it's open now. Okay, there's currently 0 entries. We just put it up. 52 days left. Survive the Bug Out Challenge. All I really need is an email. And on September 2nd, which is a Friday, September 2nd, somewhere around the 8 p.m.-ish time frame, an email is going to go out to all those contestants. And the email will be very clearly stating exactly what the scenario is, right? I've got a few different scenarios in mind, but we're going to write one up, and we're going to live with that one. So, on that night, September 2nd, if you join and attempt to survive the Bug Out Challenge, which I'm going to do myself as well, but we'll get into that in a second. On September 2nd, that night, 8 p.m., you're going to get an email from James Walton at I Am Liberty, and it's going to say such and such and such a thing has happened. Your family, yourself, your person, your people, your community is at risk by this scenario. You need to get X amount of miles away from your current house, and you need to stay there for the night. So you're not going to know how far away you must go, but you're going to have to be able to get away from your home on the night of September 2nd, and you're going to have to be able to stay the night where you're at, using only your bug out bag, right? So you got to get your bug out bag in shape. You've got to get, do an overview. You got to make sure that it's in good shape. You got to give it an audit, and you've got to be prepared for whatever it is I throw at you that night if you want to join this challenge. But staying overnight is just one piece of the challenge. There will also be several different tasks that you'll have to achieve during your stay. And you'll have to log these tasks, and you'll have to take some pictures of these tasks. If it's build an improvised shelter, if it's you need to find water and you need to purify it. You need to find a way to aid a person in your group who maybe have some sort of ailment or wound that has to be taken care of, hypothetically, obviously. But there's going to be a list of challenges that come to you on September 2nd as well. So you will have the ability to get to where you need to get. You're going to have a bug out area planned, a bug out location planned. And depending on what the disaster is, whether you are 1 mile away from your home or 17 miles away from your home, that's where you have to go. You must go at least that far. You must stay there for the night. And in order to win, in order to survive the Bug Out Challenge, you have to complete the tasks that are posited, or the tasks that are given in that email that could come to you September 2nd, right around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. at night. We might do it a little earlier so you guys have some daylight to traverse the land, but that's the game plan. Survive the Bug Out Challenge. Right now I have a few different folks that I'm talking to. Bug out suppliers, bug out bag creators. Who else am I talking to about prizes? What's going to happen is we're going to wind up with we're going to wind up with some sort of a really cool prize pack that either a handful or just one person is going to win. I don't want to say whether or not it's going to be one winner, because I'd like to just collect as many prizes as I can between now and September 2nd and divvy them out based on what I see from the entries. You know what I mean? If I have people who bugged out and did a hell of a job with the challenges while they were out there, and it's more than one, then I'm going to say, you know what, this is great, and more than one person deserves to win. It's not going to be a random generation of some winner. So, again, go to IamLibertyShow.com. Right? If you go there on your iPhone, and I think you should get a pop-up automatically, it'll say Survive the Bugout Challenge, and all you really have to do is click the screen anywhere. Also, if you refer a friend, if you share this thing and refer a friend to sign up, then you'll get a free copy of Surviving a Mass Shooting by yours truly once the book is finished and out, which I think will be probably no later than September. But I'll put your name in a list of names for folks that will receive a free copy of that ebook, because that book is going to be very important and a lot of good, solid information that's consistent with what national level training is on dealing with active shooters. So I want you guys to be prepared for that. Survive the Bugout Challenge at IamLibertyShow.com. Go there, sign up, do your thing, and make sure that you join the challenge. And make sure that you refer a friend as well. Share. Instagram, Twitter, the whole nine, Google+, Facebook, do all that stuff. All those creatures, all those cretins that have turned on us in some way or another. No, but I'm excited about this. I've never really run a contest before, and this one I think could be pretty fun. So the last piece of the Survive the Bugout Challenge is that I want to survive as well. And it wouldn't be much fun to me if I already knew ahead of time what the challenge was. So my request to you folks out there, the very serious and the very powerful, and only the most powerful, really, I Am Liberty Show listeners, is I need a challenge. I need a challenge. September 2nd. Okay? I'm going to be sending out emails September 2nd at around 7:30, 8 o'clock p.m. at night to send you guys on your merry way into your challenging scenario, so you can see how your bug-out bag measures up against the real world. I need someone to do the same for me. I need someone to do the same for me. I need someone to send me a challenge. So you send me a challenge, I'll root through them, and I'll pick one that night, and I'll go from there. All right, so Survive the Bugout Challenge. Don't forget about it. I want you guys to do it. I'll be plastering it all over social media, so be prepared. When this is a life of excitement for me. I'll tell you that much. Scientists unearthed a trove of 700-year-old stone tools used by monkeys. Hairy little arms raise a stone, then bring it down with force on a cashew. Still in its sack of tough skin and toxic resin, the sound echoes as the stone smashes the nut on a bigger stone used as an anvil. A hungry capuchin monkey wants to eat the meat contained inside. We think we're just at the beginning. We definitely expect this to go beyond 700 years. So these scientists found stone tools that these capuchin monkeys were using up to 700 years ago, in Thailand. Splitting nuts and shellfish with stone tools. What's new is the finding that this happened outside of Africa and Asia. This prompts us to look at whether early human behavior was influenced by their observations of monkeys using stone tools. So we always thought that since we were the great ones, that maybe we were the ones that created this idea of stone tools, but maybe we stole it. Maybe we stole it and took it over and turned it into something much more impressive. I am just in love with this ancient history, that's all there is to it. So before I digress into something crazy, I'm going to call it a day, because my son just woke up and he looks like he needs my help. Come say hello to the folks, Carter. What do you need?
I need some help.
You need some help?
Yeah. For the seed.
Come say hi to the I Am Liberty faithful here. Say hi.
Hi.
There you go. All right. Well, let me go be dad, and you guys have a good time. Sit on this information, make some good decisions, and we'll see you live Wednesdays going forward. Don't forget, we're not live on Friday nights anymore. We're live Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's James Walton with I Am Living.